Hey everybody, peace. It's Momtahana with Beyond Clouds. Today I want to talk to y'all about why I believe Indigenous people, Native Americans should absolutely consider the Green Party in voting in the election this year. Unfortunately, when we do get to hear Jill Stein and Butch Ware talk about their policies and such, um, it is, it's on a platform where they only have so much time. They got to kind of get in the, basic things. And if they speak about any group in particular, it might be about Palestinians and, with the genocide against them in Gaza and the land theft. Or they may talk a teensy bit about Black American people so far as reparations go. But that's just like maybe 2% of what they're actually proposing in their policies. 98% more being on the website. So if you go to jillstein2024.com backslash or slash platform. So jillstein2024.com/platform will show you the entire, it's a lot, y'all, that they're planning to do. So there's so many things that you will find on there pertaining to Black people, pertaining to encouraging peace throughout the world, all those things, but also for people with disabilities, women and gay rights and all these things. And one of the groups is Native Americans. When I tell you what they want to do for Indigenous people, you think reparations for Black folks is big. I'm going to read to you why I believe that Indigenous people should absolutely not only consider the Green Party, but vote Green this election, y'all. And I'm going to try to make this video not too long, so let me just get to it. If you go on the website that I just said, jillstein2024.com/platform, and there will be 3 tabs that you can click on: people, planet, or peace. I clicked on people because I wanted to talk about something specifically. So if you scroll down, just look for what you're looking for. It will say tribal/indigenous sovereignty. We all want sovereignty, right? It reads, a Jill Stein administration will guarantee as a human right the sovereignty of the Indigenous people of Turtle Island, today's USA. We recognize the history of broken treaties, stolen and occupied lands, and the desecration of the Indigenous way of life. So our policies aim to readdress harm through restoration justice. A Jill Stein administration will honor all existing treaties with Indigenous nations, ensure free, prior, and informed consents for any and all activity on tribal sovereign land. Establish a federal land back commission. She had me at hello. Establish a federal land back commission. Create a task force of tribal nations leaders to assess their needs. So she wants to assess, not tell this is what your needs are, this is what you're going to get. She wants to talk to the nations to see what it is we need. So create a task force of tribal nations leaders to assess their needs for infrastructure, resources, education, and economic development. Support a Truth and Reconciliation Commission and a reparation. I'm really trying not to cry. Support a Truth and Reconciliation Commission and a reparations plan to address Indigenous people's economic dispossession. I need y'all to take this in for a second. Amend the federal regulations up to streamline the recognition process of tribal nations, Native Hawaiian Nation, and other Pacific and Caribbean islanders. Increase appointments to tribal liaison positions, boards, and commissions to ensure representation on all policies impacting tribal nations. Enforce the United Nations Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People to require tribal consents for granting construction permits on treaty lands, waterways, and usual and accustomed areas. Prohibit all activities on sovereign territories without free, prior, and informed consent. Defend tribal rights to regulate and manage their environment's natural resources. Mandate all property tax revenues from tribal, in quote, she has reservation lands, be shared with the tribes. I'm going to repeat. Mandate all property tax revenues from tribal reservation lands to be shared with the tribes. Remove policies and practices that create barriers in upholding Native voting rights at all levels of government. Protect Native religious freedoms. Declare the second Monday in October as the federal holiday, Indigenous Peoples Day, federal. Fund the Indian Health Service and establish at least one IHS clinic in each state. Increase and expand community health centers and behavioral and mental health services for Native youth. Establish an adequately funded medical facility in all reservations. Ensure the Department of Education fully funds and includes tribal sovereignty curriculum developed by tribal leaders in all states. Provide funding for judicial training on the Indian Child Welfare Act of 1978 to eliminate the loss of Native children's ties and identities to their families, cultures, and homelands. Improve and align government policies and efforts, including data collection, to appropriately identify and classify American Indian / Alaska Native and multiracial students. Expand funding for tribal compact schools and address the disproportionate rates of dropout, expulsion, and suspension rates of Native students at the K-12 level. Expand access to tribal colleges and universities, Native studies programs at mainstream colleges and universities. Officially recognize children lost to adoption under the Indian Relocation Act of 1952, tribal members who were disenrolled during the U.S. Indian Tribes Termination Policies 1940 to mid-1960, prior to the enactment of the Indian Child Welfare Act of 1978, and reunify them with their tribes and families. Ensure the rights of tribal nations to investigate and exercise criminal jurisdiction over non-Native citizens who commit domestic or sexual violence on tribal lands in accordance with the Violence Against Women Act. Maintain and authorize the VAWA, the Violence Against Women Act, to fund and expand the specific tribal nations provisions, such as judicial training. Improve and fund Native lands justice systems to facilitate prosecution of non-Natives accused of serious crimes. Ensure correct Native classification of missing and murdered Native women in the federal records. Increase tribal, federal, state, and local cooperation to end the crisis of missing and murdered Native women. Commission a report on the pipeline culture as an intrinsic factor in the missing and murdered Indigenous women crisis of, and mandate oil companies fund resources for crisis prevention. Improve state, federal, tribal relations to avoid bias and discriminatory policing through law enforcement, cross-cultural education with tribal nations. Expand funding of urban Indian health organizations to enable them to address the health needs of Native Americans in urban cities who may not have access to tribal health facilities. Fund Indian Health Services, IHS, trust responsibility for urban Indians. Fund Indian Health Services trust responsibility for urban Indians, so IHS funds can never be taken from the federally recognized tribal allotments to fund urban Indian health care. Address the disproportionately high rates of homelessness among urban Indians. Halt gentrification in tribal and poor communities that prices people out of their communities. And lastly, help states develop and fund urban Indian liaison offices to improve community relations. Woo, that's a lot. 35, listen, is there one with the Republicans? Is there one with the Democrats? Indigenous people are always on the bottom rung, if we are even considered at all. That's a fact. So for the Green Party, they have obviously sat down with leadership, indigenous leadership, and or indigenous people who are in the know to say, what is it that you need? Like, how can we help as the Green Party, as a party of citizens? What can we do to help each other? They're not only, land acknowledgement and, this Columbus Day thing, it sucks. Like, don't get rid of it, but let's have an adjacent sort of acknowledgement. Like, yeah, they're still here. Like, why are you doing this to Indian people? But not actually doing anything to help indigenous people. You know what I'm saying? That's not what the Green Party is about. I'm telling you, when I first learned about Jill Stein, I went to the website because my daughters are the ones who hit me to it. Like, you should really check out the Green Party, this lady, blah, blah, blah. And so, of course, I went directly to the policies. And when I saw about all these things that they want to do and plan to do, already have policies, ready to go for indigenous people. And then you see what they're saying about healthcare. And you see what they're saying about having peace. And, what they're saying about Black American people, not only reparations. I'm going to make a separate video for that too. And for women, environment, Mother Earth, right? What? Have the Republicans or the Democrats ever mentioned doing anything for the earth? And even if they did, who's going to take them seriously? Like, come on, we know y'all all about the money. You don't care about the earth. I live in Pennsylvania. All I see is construction. All this vast areas of land. They don't want that. It's like, fill it up. We can make money. The housing crisis. Listen, in a nutshell, I'm going to say again, I believe that indigenous people 18 years and older should be voting, period. It's important for everyone to vote. But absolutely, I believe that all indigenous people who can vote should be voting green. Don't get caught up in the, but if we vote green, then whichever of the other two candidates that you may have considered, not knowing that there's a third party or not being, well enough informed about there being a third party, Don't get caught up in, well, if I vote green, then the opposite of the person I was going to vote for is going to win, and where that's going to leave us. Where is it leaving you now? Because neither of them are going to do a thing for Indigenous people. It's just not so. We have to stand up and do things for ourselves. Truly. Creator has given us the power. Creator has given us the resources. Creator has given us true allyship, not just people who want to come to powwows and act like they're friends of Indigenous people, friends of Indians, you know, dope, like little photo opportunities and things of that nature. But then when it's time for them to actually stand or do something, when it's time for them to actually use their prestige and their clout that they have, they don't really do anything. They don't want to. It's like, oh, whoa, you know, I mean, sage, I can do sage. No. Stop treating Indigenous people as freaking fetishes. It's so annoying. So, the Green Party, Jill Stein, Butch Ware, are true allies to Indigenous people, so far as I can tell. Why not help ourselves? This opportunity is not going to come through Republicans or Democrats ever. This opportunity may not come again for a very long time if the people don't support the party that is willing to do something. So therefore, why not just take a chance? What is there? We're not going to lose anything because we don't have anything right now to begin with. If for anyone who needs to find out more information about voting and how to vote and all that, I'm not a politician. I'm just a gal trying to figure it all out like the rest of you. And if I find something that I think is beneficial to us, I'm gonna make a video about it. But the people who for real know, go to them. And so you can go to NARF, Native American Rights Fund. You can go to Rock the Native Vote and find out, you know, you could Google and put in there Native American voting, and then different organizations will come up for you. But just do something. Do something. This is for, things don't just spiritually or miraculously or magically happen for the next 7 generations. It takes work. We have to do the work. And none of our ancestors have had the opportunities and the resources that we do right now today. So, and for us to honor them, for us to honor our descendants for at least the next 7 generations, we have to do something now. And now we have the opportunity. So we need to now take advantage of it and work together. Let's come together with people who are allies of one another and get this thing going. So that is all I got to say today. Please do go to jillstein2024.com/platform and just check out the whole website. But to find out information about the policies, all of the policies for everyone, including Mama Earth, go there and check it out for yourself, okay? And make an informed decision and compare to the other candidates. This is serious. So take it seriously. Peace.